Welcome to the Unshakeable Talks with me, Katy Schweiger. This is not just another podcast. This is your girls' chat for business women. I'm going to speak to women in business, and we're not just going to have a normal conversation. We're speaking about what it really takes to build a business, to scale a business, why we are doing business, and what are the real challenges. What are the things no one actually talks out loud? What are the things which are holding us back? And what are the things which are really driving us to do what we're doing? So I believe running a business as a woman isn't harder, but it is different. So it's time we actually start talking about it. Let's get into it. In today's episode at the Unshakeable Talk, I had the pleasure of speaking to Nooshin. Nooshin is a women's tailor who not only operates from the prestigious road of Savile Row in London, but also visits her clients at home. And we're really speaking about how important clothes for women every age in business actually are. Welcome to the Unshakeable Talk, Nooshin. Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to have you. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers
Thanks
to
for
you.
inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm.
It's not alcoholic, I know, sorry.
It's okay. We've all got long days. Probably best I don't have a drink now.
I want to dive right in because I'm so excited to have you here. You have actually changed my opinion about tailoring when we had the conversation. I never actually thought that tailoring can be so important for women.
Yeah.
But before we dive into this, I want you to take us back because this has been... this has been in your blood since you've been born.
Yeah.
So tell us about this.
Yeah. So my grandmother in Tehran, she used to run two ateliers in sort of the main part of the bazaar, catering to women and making patterns and dresses and suits. And she was incredible. She was very fashion forward, and she used to have ladies that would come in and they would spend their housekeeping to women that came from sort of very prestigious homes, and her advice was always, regardless of who comes in, you treat everybody the same.
I love that.
And I love that too. I think it's such a lovely way to run and operate your business that it's, it's just... So we have all of her books and all her accreditation at home, which is lovely to look through.
So you making the decision you want to be a tailor. Tell me about this, because we all have obviously you would have seen your grandma, it runs within your family. So has it always been a no-brainer for you that this is what you're going to do?
Well, actually, no, it hasn't always been, because I've actually got a film and television degree.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that one.
Yeah,
You kept that one quiet.
Yeah. So I went to university and I studied film and TV, which I loved. But when I came out of university, I got a job working as a runner.
Yeah.
For a production company. And my second role within that company, would you believe, was not only to research the bands that were on each week, it was for the album chart show, it was also to go and buy the presenter's wardrobe.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was one of those moments where he was a man. I absolutely loved working with him, but I would go to the shops, I would buy his wardrobe and dress him for the show. And I think it was at that point I thought, I really like the way clothes make people feel. It was just a sort of, I don't know, it was just a wow moment. He changed his whole posture. He stood up a bit straighter. So I came out of television because I sort of felt like it wasn't necessarily right for me. And I started temping for an agency. And one day she called me, she said, look, Nooshin, I've got a job. It's come up on my books and it's selling shirts to women. What do you think? And I said, oh, okay, well, I'll go along. I've got some fashion experience. And I got the job.
Okay.
And everything I learnt about tailoring, the fitting, the measuring, sort of coupled with the heritage side.
Yeah.
I just felt like I'd landed. I felt like it was exactly where I should be.
So you started your career as a tailor, but working for another tailor.
For another lady. And it was all, like day one, it was like, there's your measuring tape. You
really?
learn on the
Yeah.
job. So it was very much an apprentice role, and I loved it.
It's so much better though, isn't it, for your profession to learning on the job actually?
I think so. And I think that, that sort of hands-on experience and, just working with the customer from the beginning. I mean, obviously she didn't sort of let me loose on all of her, or, the clients to start with, but it was very much the consulting, the colours, and I absolutely loved it. And within a sort of couple of years, I thought, I need to do my own thing now. Now is the time.
It wasn't that easy though, wasn't it? Like
No.
making this decision. So let's talk about this.
Yeah. So I remember I'd gone for a walk with my father, and he said to me, jump ship, do it. You've got the ideas, you have the proof of concept. So I left the job and I moved back home, which was really hard.
Yeah.
And I was sort of in my mid-20s at this point.
Yeah.
And I applied for funding or, business loan from HSBC. And initially they came back with, would you believe, a credit card with nothing on it, just an overdraft facility. And, I'd put together this business, sort of package for the guy there.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is the best I can get you. And I just said to him, please, like, this is a really good business. This business has legs. I've done it for a few years now. It works. Would you possibly escalate it? And would you please show it to your female partners?
So I stop you there because actually I went to HSBC at the early years of my career in my old business, trying to get a loan. I would have never thought to escalate this to the female employees within the decision-making team.
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually made this decision, that is amazing in itself. Because obviously you wanted to open a women's tailor, like what you're doing now. So it was specifically for women.
Yeah.
You applied for your loan and had this consultation with a man who couldn't quite see your vision.
No, he couldn't.
And you immediately thought, okay,
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're saying, but can you please escalate it to the female members of staff?
Yeah.
Tell me about this, because
I just thought the women that I'd been working with, I could see how useful, having a wardrobe of these sort of coherent pieces was. And I thought, if a woman sees the vision, my vision, perhaps I might have a chance. And I think also, I am a bit like a dog with a bone. Once I want something, I'm just not going to stop. And he, bless his heart, he was so pleased to come back and say, I've got you £5,000. And I tell you what, my goodness me, I eked out every single pound from the photo shoot to the samples. So you're looking at patterns, a tailor, fabric, the machine work, the grading, obviously a website, as I've said, and just the running costs, you know, those very, very beginning costs. And just accepting the fact that for a time you're going to be quite hard up.
Yeah.
And just getting through that. And there were times in the beginning that it was really tough.
And I think this is what's often underestimated when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's almost quite often seen as an easy step.
Yeah.
I feel it's being glamorized a little bit sometimes because no one really speaks about those hard times, because £5,000 at the time were a lot of money, but weren't really for what you wanted to achieve.
No. And it was, not just producing samples. You're producing samples that are of a really, really good quality. And again, I was very lucky. I met a sample machinist, and this guy was fantastic, and I still work with him today. And his workmanship is incredible. Yeah. And I feel lucky you've built this network of people around you. And it is about those early days and building that network and networking, going out, meeting people, and being prepared to hustle. That's it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think it is glamorous to start with. No. Because you are trying to start a new business and be the face of the business, but you are also doing all of the legwork.
You're everything to the business.
You are everything. And I'd like to say that nearly 20 years on, I have managed to delegate a little bit more. I still do a lot of the legwork because, you know, I like to control.
But that's hard though, isn't it? Because we are so, and I'm definitely also like this,
Yeah.
because we are so used to having to do it.
Yeah.
It's so hard for someone else to come in to kind of show you a different way, and you're actually seeing the value in this way.
Absolutely. And sometimes you feel like to take extra help is a bit, you're sort of showing a bit of vulnerability there, that you need the help. And I think that goes with motherhood as well.
Absolutely.
When you take help on, you think, oh, do I really? But actually, the more you delegate, the more you can focus on, for me, looking after my customers and making sure that each person is happy. That is my goal. That is my number one priority when I take somebody on. So if I can ask for help and get extra help with a little bit of running around and make sure those people are also looked after and they feel like they are part of your team. And I think it's,
So if I come to you as a client, tell me about the experience, because you actually are operating out of a showroom at Savile Row, like one of the most famous road for tailoring. I know you've been working there before, so you have the connections. I definitely want to speak about this. Very male-dominated industry in itself, but specifically Savile Row. But you actually don't have the overheads of a Savile Row shop. And that aspect I find really interesting.
Yeah, I think from an early sort of point in the business, I made a decision that I didn't want the overhead of running a shop in London. I live out in Hertfordshire, and my goal was always to have a family and to sort of couple being a mum with running the business. And, you know, you simply can't be in two places at once. So I decided not to go for the shop with the overhead, but I feel very fortunate that I have the use of a beautiful showroom, as you say, in Savile Row. We have all the fabrics there. And for my London ladies, I meet them there. And other customers, I meet either at their homes very often, or offices. And if you can imagine some of these really busy corporate ladies, they, you know, the day starts at 9, sometimes it doesn't finish till 10. Well, if I can offer a visiting tailor experience for them, where we go in with the suits and the dresses, and I say take fabrics in, and you might take like a little sweet treat and just take them away from all of that for an hour, sometimes half an hour, sometimes we don't even talk, it's just we fit. And then we come away, just depending on the client's diary and schedule. It sort of puts you in a slightly unique position that I want to become a service to people. I want to be of service to these women. So the setup works very well.
I think you have the best of both worlds, because for me and for anyone who's really busy, actually having someone coming to me is pure luxury. And I would associate an extra price tag with this. But then also there is the other part of that people quite like to go to a prestige showroom. They obviously associate something luxurious and exclusive with entering that Savile Row showroom.
Absolutely.
So you can offer both. That's genius.
I guess it's a really nice service to offer. And as you say, women sometimes, there are ladies that only want to come into the showroom because they want to step away from their working environment and have that moment of just an hour with me. We don't just talk about suits. There's lots of other things that we
like we do as women.
As women, sometimes we have a good natter, and I'm like, okay, we've been talking about other things for 40 minutes. We've only got 20 minutes left. Let's crack on. So it's you know, I'm very customer led, client, you know, depending on what, you know, that customer wants at that point, and that changes throughout the entirety of your relationship with that person as well.
So when I spoke to you about your work and tailoring, you've told me how important it actually is for women while they're going through life. And you touched up on certain life situations, i.e. surgery, menopause, changing in your body. And we spoke about what this all links back to, that is the confidence. So let's speak about this, because I know that's something you're extremely passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's so important. I've never actually thought of tailoring in this way.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing working with women on that level when you're creating these pieces for them. First, there comes a need. So I've become a partner or the CEO of the company, and I want the wardrobe to match my new role, because I am confident in my ability at work, but perhaps in the way I dress or the clothes that I currently have, they don't reflect my position, and that's where I step in. And I think that, having something that fits you beautifully, that's been made for your shape, for your style, all your nuances, there is something quite liberating in putting something on and thinking, okay, you look great. And the ladies that come in now, we have ladies that are going through the perimenopause, menopause, women that have had life-changing surgery, injuries, sports injuries from 15 years ago, and everything is completely tailored around each individual body. If you're going through the perimenopause and you're feeling very warm, or you're hot, or you're flushing, there are fabrics that I will sort of naturally lead you towards to make sure that those pieces aren't then touching all those
areas where you could be sweating, for example.
You've got ladies that are coming in who are still working with, they might be heading up that boardroom, but they still have 12 men around the table and they are in charge, but they are going through the menopause. And what can I do to make that part of your day easier?
Yeah.
So tailoring is extremely powerful. And the options are endless, and it's almost, I always say, like, if you can imagine it, I can bring it to life. And sometimes people come in and they're like, well, my drawing's terrible, I've got a little receipt that I did a sketch of something on, can you produce this? And, I love it. It's always,
that would be me. I've got an idea.
Yeah, I can imagine you would come with a full mood board.
Maybe, yes. But the mood board will definitely be highly unrealistic.
Yeah.
And it will probably not be the right thing for me, but it's something I would want to see myself in.
Yeah, and I think there is something in, somebody coming in and saying, look, I love this design, and we extract the best parts from that design and then we tailor them around. So for me, it's really important that we are creating pieces that reflect, your personality, but ultimately flatter your shape. Yeah. That is so important. And a lot of the fittings I take now, I ask the client to sit down. Let me fit you while you're sitting down, because everything changes. And
oh my God, this is so true. When I try out outfits for the podcast, in one of my earlier episodes, I've noticed, I can't remember which outfit it was, but I looked at the episode and I thought, this looks horrendous sitting down.
Yeah.
And so
I bet it didn't.
It did. It looked really weird sitting down. And now when I try anything on, it's really funny. Should I get up and show you what I do?
Yeah.
I say to my husband, right, how does this look?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it looks good, Katy. And then I did it. But how does it look like this?
Yeah.
Whoops, now I'm pointing. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, it needs to look good sitting down.
Absolutely.
And it's such an important point, isn't it? But we don't really think about this.
Well, I think that as, when we fit dresses, when we fit trousers, jackets, if you're at your desk for 9-10 hours and then you're going out for corporate drinks in the evening, how does this piece or this suit transfer into the evening? So it's very important that when I'm dealing or with the client, I'm trying to look at the whole picture. Yeah. I'm not just seeing, I just want to, to put you in a suit. I want to see you in the suit and how this piece is going to function. They've got to be functional, as well as flattering, as well as fit you beautifully. Like, there's so many things that go within each piece.
So this is very complex in the most exciting way, tailoring, which I've never really looked at it. I always saw tailoring as a nice to have, a super luxurious thing. And I suppose the price tag attached to tailoring, that still obviously is the case. Yeah. But I can definitely see the need and the advantage of having something tailored
absolutely.
much more after talking to you.
Yeah.
But as glamorous as your business sounds like, I know for a fact it hasn't always been like this.
No.
And a few years back when we all had COVID, this really hit you quite hard and in a and really in the whole COVID situation really impacted your business, how it is nowadays.
Yeah, I think, goodness me, I remember I'd just sort of come back from my second round of maternity leave. And, you know, it's every time a woman takes a break from work, it's, you know, you almost feel like you're going back to the sort of building block stage, which is where I was at. And obviously 2020, we went into lockdown. I had a rail full of clothes and I was considered non-essential retail. So I wasn't allowed to operate. And I had 2 children at home. My husband carried on working. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, what is actually going to happen here? How will we all return back to work? And as you realise, people didn't go back and they still aren't back like they used to be. So 2-piece suits were very much a thing before. And when I came back, when we were finally allowed back, you know, into the working environment, the landscape of how women dress had changed forever. And it was very much, I had to be very reactive and really understand then what did that client want. And sometimes they didn't actually want anything.
Because they had enough, didn't they?
Because they had enough and they were already going in 3 days a week. And actually, we have things from Nooshin and we don't need any more. So at that point, you know, sort of off the heels of homeschooling. And which, you know, it was, I did embrace it in the end because I thought, well, I've got something to learn during this stage as well.
But it was hard though to get used to, isn't it?
Incredibly
We come
hard.
from this hustle and your business was also doing incredibly well. You almost reached that peak you were searching for, like working towards for so long. And then it all comes crashing down with something which is completely out of your control.
And that was it. There was no control. And I think, as you know, when you run your own business, you know, we work for ourselves because we want to control the narrative and the situation. We want to control the end, you know, the customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to have all of that taken away, and I think the ambiguity was just not knowing what actually was going to happen. And it was really hard for the first few years. And it was very much, you know, I felt like I was doing a lot of market research. Okay, so we're not looking at 2 pieces anymore. Tell me what pieces, what ideas. Dresses became a thing. One easy piece that people could wear that they felt very comfortable in. And of course, I think, as we said before, you know, women who are in court will always have to wear formal suits. But even ladies that I had within the sort of, you know, the accountancy, they wanted the blazer, very smart blazer, but it could be a plain top and something, you know, sort of relatively casual underneath. So that demand for very corporate wear had gone. But I think really to sort of see the silver lining was that women came out of that slightly more, I don't know, I felt like people were taking a few more risks with what they were wearing. There was a lot more colour, texture, design. Most of my clients wear trainers now, which I can honestly tell you was not a thing. And even this last year, I've even started wearing trainers with suits, only to certain appointments, but it just wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a done thing, wasn't it?
It wasn't. It was always a court shoe with a dress or a pair of trousers. People are more relaxed. They still want really beautiful clothing that sort of speaks a language. But it's very different to the things that we used to make.
Do you feel like that from a creativity point that your work is actually more interesting now because women are more inclined to experiment with colors and patterns and fabrics, like you said?
Absolutely. It's brilliant. It's brilliant taking, you know, beautiful samples and lengths of cloth to people. And my thing now is I'm going to create you a wardrobe with pieces that you can go to if you've got that big meeting where you know you've got, but let me just show you something completely different. Let's be a little bit experimental and access a different part of, you know, that person's creativity. Because, you know, although, you know, the ladies are, you know, they're sort of very corporate with sort of very big, serious jobs, a lot of my clients are really creative. And I love extracting that from them. And bring me a design, show me something. You know, if there's anything that you have seen on the runway or the catwalk, something that really inspires you, WhatsApp it to me. Let's try and, you know, work and create things that are... So the suits will always have their place.
Yeah.
But we're sort of moving to... And just... It's really interesting. I have a lady and she said to me, I only wear boucle, which is, you know, that sort of beautiful Chanel style fabric, if I know I'm meeting female partners in the evening.
Why is that?
Because I know other women will appreciate this, and perhaps men might not see it as me taking my work seriously. So we've still got a long way to go when I hear those things.
You know, my husband, he works in the banking industry, so it's very traditional. But he does go in, not in a full suit anymore, but he actually, I think deep down he doesn't like it. I think he would prefer if everyone would come in a suit.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't like that shift that people are very casual. And he always, and it's always been like an on-off discussion between the two of us, he always felt that women within the industry can get away with much more than men. Yeah. So we always had this kind of discussion, because I said, but it's so much easier for you guys to dress because it's just a suit and a shirt and a tie. Yeah. That's it. There's no maybe a different color, but it's like a uniform.
It's a uniform. I think there's a lot more for men. It's, you know, I put my suit on with my shirt and tie and shoes, and for women there's so much more involved, and we know the high street, even mid and upper end. I don't know whose bodies these people are tailoring for or making patterns for, because
not mine, because it's
and not mine either. And it's you know, once you know what your body configuration is, you know, it's very, very hard to find things off the shelf. So there's, you know, it's I can see why your husband feels like that, in a way that it's almost a uniform for him to wear a two-piece suit. There's a lot of ambiguity around smart casual. Are we talking chinos? Are we talking the same shade, or the different shade of wool, different textured blazer with a... I do understand, but that's where I step in, obviously, for my female clients, that I can help them put together a very professional wardrobe, and that can be with a two-piece suit or a standout dress or a jacket with a pair of trousers, and the fabrics can be complementary, but they don't always, different. But different, yeah. So
nowadays, what is deemed to be professional in an outfit in a woman?
Yeah, I think it still is very much, I don't know, I'm trying to think. It's very individual, and it depends on where that person works. So again, within the legal sphere, a two-piece suit,
it's a must.
Black or a navy, maybe a very deep charcoal, that would be deemed as very professional. However, those women also want other pieces. If they are, as I say, going out to a networking event, or they're running an in-house event where they need to look smart, they might say, hey, can we make a two-piece navy suit, but could you show me a navy fabric that's got a bit of texture and a bit of interest?
When you went through that phase of COVID, where you struggled, where you had to really refocus and pivot within your business almost a little bit, I know you have a picture of your grandma at home.
Oh yeah, always.
How many times have you looked at this picture and thought, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah,
or what am I doing here?
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I have the picture. Actually, I have a picture of my grandfather as well. It was his birthday today, so
happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday. But with my grandmother, I think the picture was taken when she was around 16 or 17, so she would have just had my uncle at the time. And I look at it sometimes, and I think, what would she say? She would say, pull yourself together and get on with things, you know. without sounding very sentimental, I really do try to pull that energy. And yeah, it always makes me feel quite emotional. She was incredible, and her work, and not just her work, the things that she achieved within the family, and my father and my uncle and my auntie, she really was. And my grandfather, they were an amazing couple. But yeah, I do look at it and I know she'd be saying, "Come on, Nooshin, pull yourself together."
See, I grew up like this.
Yeah.
And there is this aspect nowadays, a lot of people, obviously we speak about generational conditioning and all of this, almost frown up on this kind of attitude towards work.
Yeah.
But within entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
you have to have a portion of this attitude.
I agree.
You have to just get on with things sometimes. When people ask me, "Oh, how do you do it?" Well, there's no choice. Like, obviously there is a choice, but I've made a choice to build this business.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to freaking get on with it without like anything else.
You do. And I always think when your children are really young, you know what, they're bringing a cough and a cold into the house all the time. Then you catch whatever they've got. And I remember last year, my daughter had given me like one of the most hideous colds. I mean, it was debilitating. But I have a brilliant customer that was flying in that day from Nigeria to see me and my pattern cutter. And we had all of these pieces ready to fit. And I thought, how am I? I mean, I was literally, I knew I had a fever. And, I just thought, again, take the tablets, put the mask on.
Yeah.
And I'd COVID tested myself. It wasn't COVID, but it was just a really nasty. We don't have the luxury. I just don't think there's a luxury of saying, "Oh, we're not today."
I agree.
You just have to. And there are days, of course, over weekends and things where you think, really? And you think, yes, no, you have to. Because it's no one else is going to do it for you. And at the heart of everything, it always goes back to, I need to get this here for the customer, or I need to do this because, every pound that the customer pays is to be valued. And I think when you value the pound, I think your attitude to work is completely different. I really do.
Absolutely. And also you value your customers means you value your craft as well.
Absolutely. And you value the people that are doing the work for you, because looking after your pattern cutters, your tailors, is a massive part, and making sure everyone's happy.
Yeah. Which is not easy, isn't it?
No. And it's, because you happy staff. People put out the best work when they're happy and they're being looked after and cared for. So that's a massive part of my work as well, to make sure that everybody's looked after. And anything else, with myself, I can, I go and walk my dog. Yeah. I go up to the woods, and that's my therapy. And, if that's how I start my day, with my dog out in nature. Yeah. No phone, no earpods, anything. It's just me, the dog, the trees, the birds. That's my happy place.
So when you say you making sure that everyone around you essentially is happy, some will say that's a classic case of people pleasing.
Yeah.
Where there's definitely an aspect of this in there. But have you ever been disappointed by the people you work with, or have you established throughout your years of working with those people quite a good team who value actually what you're putting in?
Yeah, I think for me, having really open, transparent conversations, so not just handing patterns over and expecting that person is just going to crack on with the work. I always say I've got time between 6 and 8 on a Friday evening. If there's any concerns, please call me. I am also available on a Saturday and a Sunday, and I think making people feel like they can come to you and talk to you. You continue to build and nurture those relationships. There hasn't been a huge sense of disappointment, because I feel like I'm such a communicator. And sometimes people say things to you that you don't always want to hear. And it's taking that on and saying, okay, next time I'll work differently. Yeah. Or this is a clear part of the process that needs to be worked on. and being open and receptive.
Yeah. And reflecting back on how you work as well
is very, very important.
Yeah.
And also accepting that sometimes you're definitely not always right. You know, the people that I'm working with are skilled, trained artisans. So if they tell me something, I tend to listen.
Well, the thing is, we hire or work together with professionals within their field.
Yeah.
So we, as much as we sometimes feel we know it all, we definitely don't know it all. We have a vision, but we're obviously entrusting in other people around us to make that vision come true.
Absolutely.
So we have to trust in their opinions as well.
Absolutely, we do. Otherwise, we just become bottlenecks.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're talking about growth and expanding your business, you being a bottleneck, you're just never going to get there.
No. And you're also never going to get there on your own.
No. And I think that having the network, and I know you talk about business networking a lot and having, your friendship groups, but the business network is really important. Women that they just understand the hustle, women and men, but obviously, it's...
I think for us women, it's important in a different aspect because our lives generally look a bit different in a traditional sense in most family setups than men. So I think for us specifically, it's very important to have business women around us in
allies.
A positive way.
We need allies, and we need to provide allyship to other women. We need to, I think you and I have, spoken about, sort of tooting other women's horns.
Yeah.
Like, this lady does this and she is brilliant at what she does, and bringing women into the fold, perhaps younger women in their sort of early 20s and 30s, that might need a little bit of someone to lean on, a bit of advice. This is what we should be doing.
Absolutely.
Not if you're very single-minded and single-focused, you're going to burn out very quickly. If you bring everyone to the table and everyone's got something,
we all have something completely different. And the recent networking event you and me both attended, and also for my own event, which is upcoming, I actually have very young girls signing up to the event. And I had a message yesterday in my inbox, and she said, I really would like to come, but I'm not sure if my business is too niche or I'm too young. And I was like, no,
you're perfect.
You're absolutely perfect. And she did sign up immediately after. But it just showed me that it's not just us in our age group who has those limiting beliefs about themselves and those thought processes. It is the younger generation as well. And how beautiful is it that we can all get together within a business setting?
I agree.
And we can definitely learn a lot from the younger ones as well.
We can.
And so can they. So
absolutely. And I think the younger generation as well. I mean, it's really interesting now when you speak to people, one of the first questions they ask, what's your Instagram handle? And you think, and that is age, it doesn't matter how old people are interested in social media, and your Instagram page is a massive reflection of how active you are. The girls and boys in their 20s and 30s, they've got it all worked out across, and I'm always interested to hear, I hadn't thought of that, or use that hashtag, or so I think there's so much, but also just that sort of rawness, that fresh, that sort of, hungry to learn, that eager, attitude within there. And I think it's lovely to meet women across a whole spectrum, and to be able to be part of a network where we can all help each other out. And I think actually if you attend a network with something to offer, rather than something, what am I going to get from this?
Oh, game changer.
Absolutely. What can you take from it? Or, somebody's saying, I'm really struggling with SEO. I'm really struggling with my PR. Oh, okay. I know somebody that might be able to just, soundboard, or, have a chat with my husband. He's really good at marketing. How can we help
It's that trust piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
And specifically nowadays, because everything is so fast paced and everything is online, and you like the human connection is missing a lot of the time. So actually creating that circle and group of women you can get to know for who they really are, and not just what you think they are or what you think they have. Is so valuable.
Absolutely. And I think you're right, the human connection. You know, I always say that's one thing that AI won't be able to replace in tailoring. You know, I want to put the measuring tape around your body, and people want to deal with people, and I really hope that never goes. And you know, robotics and dogs and all sorts of weird things coming up, but you know, cars that don't even need a human being to drive anymore. I think, you know, that's always going to have its place, and it's there, but the human touch, human connection, I think is what we're all craving.
We've been talking forever. I could talk for you forever. However, I would like to end this episode with a couple of fire questions. If you're up for it.
Exciting.
If that's okay.
Of course.
Right. They are covering something we haven't covered yet within the talk. But one of the questions is, you fired your SEO agency after 6 weeks of working with them. A lot of women would have stayed quiet and kept playing small and hoping for the best. So why do you think so many women are afraid of actually making those kind of fast reactive steps when it comes to their businesses?
I think they don't want to upset. Women don't want to upset people, and I don't want to upset anybody. However, it goes back to what we were saying about the value of a pound. I'm always prepared to speculate if I feel like the service that I'm receiving is actually going to be beneficial. If it's not going to work, I'm not holding on to anything like that. It's, you know, I can tell quite quickly if something's going to work or not. And, you know, for me, I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'm very, very open, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't expect everybody to be like that, but I need to see some fire in the belly. And that my project, my business, my website is something that you feel passionate about. And if I'm not feeling it, then I'm only going to use my gut instinct, and I'm going to step away gracefully.
Step away gracefully. That's a good one. So you've built a business around the idea that what a woman wears changes how she feels and performs. But some people would argue that focusing on clothes and appearance is actually anti-feminist, that we should be beyond that by now. What would you say to that?
I just think, you know, we need to respect how each individual feels. If you feel like clothes and a really beautifully fitted suit are going to make you feel confident and empowered throughout your day, and these are going to be your authority pieces, I just think we need to respect that. I don't feel like it's anti-feminist necessarily. I just think it's a personal, individual thing.
I agree, and I think anyone who says that their clothing doesn't affect how they feel about themselves is lying.
And also, if you're not choosing to wear a suit, or I'm not saying that everybody should have a couple of nice pieces, but if you're choosing to wear things that are very floaty and very relaxed, and I don't know, you've also made a choice.
Yes, also impression.
To dress like that.
Through clothes.
Through clothing, you've chosen to make an impact through that. That doesn't, do you see? So it's, you're always making a choice. The only time you don't really have much of a choice is when you're a child.
Or in hospital when you have to wear those ugly gowns.
Oh my God, those ugly gowns. But even then you can do like a little cinch at the waist if you could. Like you need to. But everything's a choice, isn't it? And I think we just, you know, if you want to come head to toe dressed in a red suit, a pink suit, a neon, you know, I met a really brilliant lady recently. She just has like neon green nails and neon glasses. And I just think she looks amazing. And it's a choice.
Lovely. You operate with a permanent shop. You don't operate with a permanent shop or showroom. Going to clients wherever they are. Some would call that a brilliant disruptive business model. I'm one of them.
Thank you.
Others say it's deeply unglamorous for a Savile Row tailor.
Oh, okay.
What would you say to this? And which one is it in your opinion?
Oh, go on. Say it again to me. Deeply unglamorous.
Deeply unglamorous for a Savile Row tailor.
So I would always say, if you want the Savile Row experience, you can come to Savile Row. You can come to the showroom. We'll have a coffee or a glass of bubbles if you want that experience. If you want me to come to your premises, I will still come dressed as glamorous as I would have done if I'd seen you in the showroom.
Yeah.
It's just the visiting tailor aspect, the going to, somebody's home or premises. It's about ease and trying to trying to create this service that makes women's lives, as easy as possible.
I completely agree. I would rather you come to my house.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, not everybody is able-bodied.
Very good point.
Coming into London for some people is a bit of an ordeal. And so if you are older or you've had an injury, regardless of age, you might have broken your leg or your foot or something in your body, to have a home experience is more comfortable. And people open up in their homes. They might open their wardrobe and say, look, this is what I'm talking about. And actually it's great going into people's homes, because then I say, right, well, this half is functioning and I can build a suit around all of these pieces that you've already got. This half maybe we can revisit at a later time. So yeah, I feel like it's all about creating a service. And look, don't forget, the royals have dressmakers and tailors going into their premises all the time. So if it's good enough for the royals, right?
It's good enough, yeah. so true. One question I asked everyone who comes on the podcast, I would like to extend this to you. If you could go back and give younger Nooshin one honest, brutally piece of advice, what would that be?
Younger Nooshin, I think she'd like to hear, just stop worrying about what everyone else thinks. Just shut the mind monkeys down, and what you have to offer is of use. How beautiful your suits are, and just get on with it. Stop thinking and worrying about I'm always respectful to my peers, of course, but stop comparing yourself to what so-and-so is doing. Just get on with it and forge your own path, create your own identity. And that definitely comes with years of experience. And knowing what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. I don't think it comes straight away. But
no, it can't.
I don't think it can. And if it does, it's sort of ever-changing, and I think that's also okay. So yeah, just stop worrying about what other people think. Get over it. Move on.
Get over it.
Get over it. Move on, And maybe just one last thing, stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think that, when you have the perfectionism element within you, which I think you probably do as well.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And there's definitely something in that makes you really, really good at what you do.
Yeah.
That I want the process to be perfect for the customer, from that first call or email, how that is handled, who they speak to. It'll always be me, by the way. To, the correspondence that goes out, to the sitting down with that person, that first interaction with you. I sweat the detail and the small stuff, but sometimes I need to be kind to myself as well.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for coming on the Unshakeable Talks.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
I
been
loved
amazing.
Our conversation. Thank you for listening to the Unshakeable Talks. Please make sure to give us a follow and come back next week for another great conversation with another amazing woman. But I also want you to come to my event I'm hosting very soon. If you like listening to my episodes, if you like meeting the women I'm putting on the Unshakeable Talks, you will absolutely love my event, because you're actually going to be in the room with the women from the podcast or women who do similar things. Tickets are only £10 and everything goes to charity. A charity I chosen because it aligns fully with the values of the Unshakeable Talks and with myself. The link is in the show notes. Get your ticket now.